introduce my wife to you, and she'll be filling in this year as our interim administrator. We are still looking for an administrator, and I want to kind of explain that a little bit because we desperately desire to find one, but we're not just choosing anyone. And so we are being very particular about it. And of course, now that we have accreditation, TACS is very particular about the kind of administrator that you have. And so with those things in mind, as we look for an administrator, sometimes it's difficult. There's been administrators that we have found that we love and wanted to bring in, and it just didn't work out because of all the requirements upon them. There were other administrators that loved us and wanted to come in, but we just didn't think they were a right fit for the ministry. But we have been interviewing and talking with different people and trying to see who would be a good fit for us. But we want the best person possible for this ministry that will help take us to that next level as a school and the type of education that we provide to your children and to your family. And so we're not going to get in a hurry, and the wonderful thing about that is I can allow my wife to fill that role for now. It doesn't put too much pressure on us, but we can take our time and find the right person for the job. So you be praying with us about that as we continue to look. My wife does have plenty of experience. She's taught for many years and taught most of the lower grades, and also helped to start a K-3, K-4 program here in our ministry and was the director of that. And of course, she filled in, and of course, there were several of us last year that shared responsibilities. And so she kind of got her feet wet last year with a lot of responsibilities and did a great job with that. And so this year she's going to be filling in as our interim administrator. We're excited about that. And the one thing I know about my wife is that she has the same passion and the same heart that I have for this school, for this ministry, and I don't have to worry about that. And so I know she wants the best for you, she wants the best for this ministry, and so at this time I'm going to ask my wife to come, and I'm going to turn it over to her.
Thank you. Well, good evening. I'm not sure about you, but I don't know what happened to summer break. It's always a mixture, isn't it? You're excited, some of you are nervous, you're new, you have some new friends, and so we're so glad to have you all here. Thank you for taking the time out of your schedule. We have a lot of important things to talk about tonight to get ready for a great school year. I'm very excited about some things that we've got coming up this school year. And we'll talk about those a little bit, but first of all, we wouldn't have a school year, we wouldn't have a school without our teachers. And so I'd like to introduce you to our teachers, and so you can see who your teacher is, some of you for the first K-5. Mrs. Kingston, Priscilla Kingston, is going to be our K-5 teacher. You have to do the scary come here and stand as the first person. And this is her first year here with us. We're very excited to have Mrs. Kingston with us. She's been teaching for years now, and she's coming to join us, and she has 3 children in the school. We're excited to have the Kingston family. Next we have Debbie Phillips in first grade. I believe I was going to say, Debbie's been helping me get some stuff together. And then we have Courtney Litchford is our 2nd grade teacher, but she just had a baby. And so she's at home, and she's recovering from that. And we want her to get better and be ready to come back. She's hoping to come back right after Labor Day is the goal for her. But in the meantime, we have a well-qualified teacher. Jerry Scott will be filling in for her. Mrs. Scott has been in education for years, and she's taught 2nd grade for years. So she is well familiar with the curriculum in 2nd grade. And then in 3rd grade, we have Mrs. Franklin, who's been with Central since you graduated high school. Since 3rd grade. Let's not talk about how many years that is. And in 4th grade, we have Mrs. Brandy Plunk, and she's been helping me back in the back as well. So we have a lot of servants' hearts at Central Baptist, and we'll discover that this year. Very thankful. No way we could get a year done without all the teachers that we have. And in 5th grade, we have Yolanda Nelson. And Mrs. Nelson's been with us for several years as well. And we have in 6th grade, we have our new teacher, Mr. William Morris, is coming fresh off the road from Georgia. Mr. Morris joined us just about, 2 weeks ago, and he got here and moved in and is ready to go. We're very excited to have him. He's been in Christian education for about 15 years now in the middle school area, so he's very excited about having 6th grade this year. So this is our elementary staff. Then we will go on to secondary. In my mind, the way I remember everybody's, I just go around the hallway. So we've got Mr. Henry teaching English, our English department. He's been with us for years as well. And then next we have Mrs. Helen Lax, heads up our science department, gets to do all the fun biology and all that good stuff. Mr. Henry also helps us with our yearbook. I probably should not give you the list of what they do. We'd be here too long. Everybody on our staff wears a lot of hats. And so then next we have Mrs. Amy Hogan. She's our athletic director as well as helping us with PE, has a math class, she does a handful of things as well. And then next we have Mr. Tim Nelson. He's in charge of our math department. Gets to do all the fun calculus and physics stuff. And then we have Mrs. Rosemary Amberby that heads up our Spanish department. She helps with some elementary enrichments, and she's a great help to me. She's done a lot for me this summer as well. And then going down my hallway, I've got Mr. Jeff Snow, who's in charge of our history department. And he's going to be taking the high schoolers on a DC trip this year. You'll probably hear about that if you haven't already. And then I would be remiss if I did not mention Tracy Herring. Oh, I'll get to my Bible advisor, sorry. She's filling in as our church school secretary right now. Yes, sir. Luke Benson is our Bible teacher. I went down the hallway and he's in the other building, so you'll have to forgive me for that. He's in charge of our Bible. He helps us with drama. Mr. Benton does a little bit of everything as well. And then, of course, my husband, Chris Tomlin, is our pastor here, as you all know, and then he teaches 7th and 8th grade Bible as well. And Mrs. Fleming, it's our favorite person is the lunch lady. Mrs. Fleming feeds us, so we love to have lunchtime. Now, I don't know, did Mrs. Kemp, she's our pianist, and she helps us with the piano and for our choirs, and so we're very thankful for her. Now, I don't want to forget anybody. I think I've got everybody. All right, so this is our staff for 2018-19. Let's get ready. Sit down, you don't have to stand up here, but he wants to, he's going to talk to us about the yearbook, and then I'll come back up and give a few remarks. We have a few people that are going to give us some information tonight, so you don't just stare at me the whole time. But Mr. Henry's going to talk about our yearbook for a second.
Real quick, I just want to tell you, first of all, we have an app that's on the Apple Store. It's available for Microsoft phones also. If you would like to download it, it's called Yearbook Snap, and it is by Walsworth, who does our yearbook. And what you can do with that is you can take pictures at field trips or parties or something that your class is doing, and you can share them. You can upload them that way, because I'm not able to be at every event. We don't have a student photographer, and even if I did, they couldn't attend to everything. And so several of the pictures that are in our yearbook this year came from parents or people that have downloaded that app, uploaded those pictures, and sent them here. The yearbooks are available this evening. Jenna Lax and Annette are going to be out in the back, two of my yearbook staff members from last year. If you are a member, if you are a family that was here last year, the yearbook is included in part of your tuition. And so if you will stop at the table in the back, Jenna and Annette will be happy to give you the yearbook from this year. The students, again, let me say a little bit about that before you get it. It is a student put together work, okay? So I can guarantee you, you're gonna find mistakes in it and things that could have been done better. But it's a learning experience for them. This year we sold ads, and if you would like to purchase an ad for this year's yearbook, we do a business card size ad for $35. It's a really good deal. It's actually a little bigger than a business card size, and it's a good way to put out your business that families here at the school will see. The students chose for this year's theme of the book, and they tried to pull it through the book, excellence. And I'm going to read real quick just the verse that they chose to go with this is from Philippians 1:9 and 10, and it said this: "And this I pray, that your love may abound yet more and more in knowledge and in all judgment, that ye may approve things that are excellent." And that was kind of interesting because that was our goal last year as a school, that we were looking toward excellence. And thank the Lord we got that accreditation that we were trying for. We can kind of let out a sigh of relief. Not that we want to let our guard down, but hopefully improving in everything that we do. And so that was a good theme that I thought they pulled through. Each year we dedicate the book to somebody. And I'm going to kind of read just exactly what was written here, and if the person that I'm talking about will come up and get these flowers and have a look for them. This year's dedicatee lovingly teaches an elementary class and has for 15 years. She teaches her students to push themselves academically and spiritually. She's also the varsity volleyball coach and helps with the junior varsity team. She leads the teams to many victories and encourages them to strive for excellence. The 2018 Shield staff thanks her for the hard work and dedication. Her commitment to and love for her students does not go unnoticed. As an acknowledgement for all of her hard work, this year's Shield is dedicated to Ms. Kendra Franklin. And it was very special.
Login information, we'll talk a little more about Sycamore in a minute. But the schedule, 8th through 12th grade came to registration and we saw the schedule. I'm going to give them another one, but you've seen the schedule. If you have questions about it, we're going to get you logged into Sycamore and you'll be able to see it. You should be able to see your child's classes and so forth. Now, a moment about Sycamore. Sycamore is a new school management system. I don't know if you've ever been to the doctor or looked at a job where they got a new computer, anything. We're going to have to figure it all out. We've had training with the teachers. I've had multiple hours of working on it, getting it all set up. It's very user-friendly. I know last year we had some trouble when you logged in and your password expired. Sycamore seems to be a lot more friendly, and what Sycamore is going to give you the ability to do for those that are new to the school, or I guess all new to Sycamore, is going to give you the ability to log in and be able to see your child's attendance. These are her grades. You're going to be able to see their schedule if they're in high school. I believe that you're going to be able to see their schedule if they're in elementary. I've set it all up. What's happening when a parent view, I'm going to be honest with you, I haven't seen that as a parent yet. I've been doing all the admin stuff on it. But I really like Sycamore. It has one of my favorite features is that your student's class, if they're in 6th grade, they're going to have a 6th grade home page. You'll log in and it's going to take you to that home page. And if there's anything the teacher wants you to have, you know how invariably they lose their field trip form and it's due tomorrow, and they come to you the morning of or whatever and say, Mom, I got a field trip form today, and you've never seen it. So we're not stopping paper stuff this year because I know we're still very used to the paper and we're still learning Sycamore. So we're going to have to do some, working our way out of paper. That's kind of the trend of the 21st century. But for this year, we're going to still send the paper home, but we're going to throw it on Sycamore as well. So you should be able to go on there and see those papers that may or may not get lost in the backpack because that's what my children's papers do. And so we're going to shoot the login. Now, I did not put your login on a piece of paper because it's really simple. It's mom and dad are both in there. It's your first name, dot last name. So I would be charity.tomlin. That's your username. And then we've given everybody an email out to remind you of this. Okay, well, that's another thing. Emails, we send emails at least weekly, sometimes 2 times a week, depending on what's going on. So we're going to email everybody the login information to remind you it's your first name, dot your last name, and then it's all lowercase CBS 123. That's your temporary password. And when you log in, it's going to ask you to change it. You put it to whatever you can remember. Good luck with that, right? And so that's Sycamore. You're going to hear more and more about Sycamore as we progress through the year. Right now, we're just getting everybody set up. And so that is work in progress. Now, the next 3 things, if you've got your checklist, you like to check them off, if you know where you're at in this program. The next 3 things are going to be presented by Dan Amberby, but I see that Mrs. Hogan is not in her classroom, so I'll have to come back up and talk about athletics. And then someone else, Brother Barbie Thorne's going to talk to us about sword bears. So Brother Amberby, he's one of our school board members, and he's helping us with our fundraiser. This is coming up a little bit later. He'll tell us all about that.
We have our first fundraising event coming up. Really, it's at the end of September. This fundraising event is our annual golf tournament. And that's the 3rd time that we've done this golf tournament. There's a lot of things I can say about this golf tournament, but I'll give you a breakdown of what it is, how we're going to run it, and where it's going to be. First thing that I'll say about what it is that this is a way for us to involve the students, the parents, the teachers, the community, businesses around the area can be involved in fundraising. So it's not just an afternoon for a bunch of guys to get together and play golf. That is part of it. But there's an opportunity for all of us to get together as a community and help the school out and help the students out as well. So that's one aspect of it. For the students in particular, this is an opportunity for them to learn some practical ways, some business techniques that they can incorporate later in their life. The Honor Society students will have the opportunity of running and organizing this entire event. So it's going to give them the opportunity to learn some fundraising, gives them the opportunity to learn project management skills, gives them the ability to also learn event coordination. And I've even seen people's resumes that mention that they were involved in organizing a golf tournament. So that's one way that we're going to help the students out, is an opportunity to run this event. Now, the way that it helps the school, obviously, is a fundraiser. And we've raised funds in the past through this event. In particular, the last two events helped us raise funds for the computer lab. And those of you who have been to the computer lab will notice the drastic change that it went through over the last couple of years. We have brand new computers and brand new desks, a brand new large screen TV on the wall, new paint. There's a new carpet on the floor. It is, I would say it's probably as nice of a computer lab as you're going to find in the state of Tennessee. Maybe that's just my belief, but I think that it's maybe the best in all of THCS. It's a great looking computer lab. So if you haven't had an opportunity to go and see that, go and see that. But that's the direct result of the funds that we raised from this golf tournament. We'd like to do the same. All the funds that are raised from this golf tournament go directly to the school. There's not any overhead, it goes directly to the school. Last year, the emphasis was focused on raising funds for security, and again, that's the emphasis for the funds that we will raise this year. Will again be security. Particularly the things that we would like to do with security is that we'd like to add locking doors, automatic unlocking and unlocking doors to allow students to come in. We'd like to add additional cameras around the property and some other things that would help us out with the security aspect of the school. We want to have a more secure campus, and obviously as parents we understand the need for that nowadays. So that's that's the big fundraising goal of this event. So be involved with this. This is really three fundraisers in one. And let me explain what I mean by three fundraisers in one. You know that it is a golf tournament. So if I tell you what it's like to have a golf tournament, many of the guys might know who play golf. This is a 4-man scramble golf tournament. We have mulligans, we have a good time. It's not, you also get food with it, you got lunch, we have drinks that are driven around in golf carts, so it's a great day. We will accept anyone with any skill, it doesn't matter, you can come out and have a good time. In fact, last year we had a group of young ladies, students of the school, who came up with their own team. They didn't know how to play golf, but by the end of the day, they learned a lot about golf. I don't know if they had any fun, but they learned a lot about golf. So we'll take anybody that wants to play. They raised their own funds, they had a sponsor for their team, and so that was a great learning opportunity for them. So the cost for the event is $60 a person. That covers your green fees, that covers the food that you'll eat, the drinks that you'll get, and that will help cover prizes and other things like that. We have a contest for the lowest score on the team. We have a contest for the longest drive, for the closest to the hole. We have a putting contest, hole-in-one contest. Hole-in-one contest, if you make it in a hole-in-one on one of the par threes, we're giving away a zero-turn Kubota tractor. It's a really nice tractor. I think it's worth $6,000 or $7,000. So we give that away for a hole-in-one. No one's ever won it, but we will provide that. There's also another hole-in-one competition. If you make a hole-in-one in that, you get airline tickets to anywhere in the continental United States. We have barbecue for lunch. So that's a golf tournament. If you've ever been in a golf tournament, that's what it's like. It's a lot of fun. As a team, you can put together a team of 4 guys or 4 ladies that want to play. A team price is $240. If you're an individual that just wants to join us, it's only $60, which is a great price for a day of golf. Any of those who play golf will know that it's expensive. You know, go out on a weekend, might cost you $80 to $100 to play. So this is a fundraiser that only costs $60. So that's one way for golfers to be involved. We also have a way for our students to be involved with the golf tournament and raising funds as well. And we're doing that again this year through what we call a ball drop. So we're going to raise funds by selling these balls, the golf balls. And what you'll do is pay $1 for a golf ball, and then we'll write a number that represents you on that golf ball, and we'll put it into a large bucket. And on the day of the tournament, after the tournament is complete, we'll hopefully get all of this filmed, and we will dump the bucket of all those balls onto a green where there's a flag. And the balls that end up closest to the flag will be the winners. And we gave out cash prizes last year. I think it was $75 or $50 for first place. We played for second and third place as well, closest to the pin. So we use that as a way to raise funds. It's just $1 for a ball. And every dollar that you give, we'll put another ball with your number on it to represent you and your chances to win. So that's one way that the students can be involved with a golf tournament when they're not even participating in the tournament itself. There's also a way that the parents can be involved and businesses involved. For parents, if you don't play golf, you can be a sponsor, and we're looking for sponsorships. We need a tournament sponsor, which would be one of the biggest ways that you could help us. A tournament sponsor would be a gift of $500 for the tournament. We will advertise for you at the tournament. We're looking for beverage sponsors and a meal sponsor, and we will give your business name or your personal name as the sponsor for a gift of $200. And we also have hole sponsors. So every hole, 18 holes, we're looking for a business or for groups to be a sponsor for that hole. And we'll put a sign at the hole that will say this hole is sponsored by this business or by this person. And those hole sponsors are only $100. We're also looking for volunteers. And we need a number of volunteers. Obviously, we're going to have a number of students out there on the day of the event. The Honor Society will be there. But we're looking for adults as well. And we just need a handful of adults, maybe 5 or 6 of you. We need witnesses on these holes where there's a hole-in-one contest. You have to be over 18 years old to be a certified witness for the insurance company, if in case there is a hole-in-one. So we need someone to do that. We need people to drive vehicles. We need people to drive carts around and different things. So we do need some volunteers. Providing lunch is another way that where you can help. You can help set that up, and you can help deliver the meal. A little bit about where the golf tournament is. We're going to the same place that we did the last few years. We're going to Forest Hill Golf Course, and that's in Drummond's, Tennessee. It's about a 30 to 40-minute drive from here. It's a legitimate golf course. If you've been out there before, it's not a short golf course at all. This is a long golf course with difficult holes. So it's a legitimate golf course with nice greens and nice fairways. We will possibly have transportation from the school the morning of the event. A number of students might want to ride together, and we may have some volunteers. So we will probably provide transportation from the school the morning of the event. How you can get involved? Number one, you can play in the tournament. That would be one way that you can get involved. If you've got a bunch of, zero handicap golfers at work, and you want to put together a team that comes and just cleans the cloth on everybody that day, feel free to do that. We'll be happy to have you. If you're not a golfer, but you're interested in playing, come and join us. Not a problem with that. So you can play in the golf tournament. That's one way you can be involved. You can also volunteer to help. Volunteer in many different ways. You can pass the news around that we're raising funds through this effort. So that's one way that you can involve. You can help us out on the day of the tournament. You can help the students out with the ball sales. You may even participate with funding some of the students as they want to get another ball with their name in it into the hat. That's also how you participate in the ball drop. Also, you can be a sponsor for the tournament. There are a number of you that have done that in the past. Maybe your business, a person at work or somebody that can be a sponsor for our tournament. that would be a great help for us, because that's really where the majority of our funds are going to come from. We don't make a lot of money off playing golf, and we make a little bit of money off the ball drop. Most of it goes to the prizes. But being the sponsor, the whole sponsors, the drink sponsor, the tournament sponsor, are really the ways that we make the most funds for the golf tournament. If we could have a whole sponsor at every hole, we'd have a great tournament. You don't even have to do that. I think the first year, Jerry, you may not even know this, the first year that we had the golf tournament, we had one of the parents say, whatever amount of funds that you raise, I will double that amount. And that's how we have that computer lab today, because someone volunteered to do something like that. So this is a way that you can take direct money and go right into the school. It's applied directly. It's not going to other things in the school to pay the lights and things like that, even though that's important. This will go directly to the security of the school. That's all the funds will be used for. How can you get involved and how can you participate? You can come and see me. My wife teaches here. Both of my sisters were down here teaching. So all of those, you can contact the school office, the secretary as well. We'll have flyers that are out on the door that will advertise for it. And I imagine we'll even send some things home. So when you see that flyer come past you, even on Sycamore, that reminds you of the golf tournament coming up, you now know how you can be involved with it and how you can help us raise funds, and you know that the funds go directly to the school to help your students. Thank you.
And we'll talk more in a minute about the importance of our campus safety and how that, what we're looking for specifically. Next on your list is athletics. There's a volleyball schedule in your packet. Please come to our volleyball games. We love having fans come and enjoy some concessions. And Mrs. Hogan will be sending something home. She was giving me some ideas about some passes and some good ideas to help promote attendance to our games. And so look in there for your schedule and come. And of course, as with any schedule, it might change. Try to put that on the website to keep it current. So you can go, there's an athletic tab, and you choose that. She tries to keep that current. We try to keep the page current as well to let you know about the games. And then the next thing on our list is, it says box top labels. There's a blue page in your packet that talks about box tops, but that's the segue into our sword members, where we're going to talk about what that is.
Yes, this is Barton. Good evening. Thanks for being here. I am not the Sword Bearers president, but I am her spokesperson. So if some of y'all may know Brother Glenn, he is stepping down as the Sword Bearers president because he's really inundated with a lot of other things that he's done. And so taking his place or carrying on that torch is my wife, actually. We're going to introduce our new board member. So this is Nancy Thorne in the very back. She's my wife. She's the new president of Sword Bearers. And Jamie Eskew, is she over here? Shy. This is our vice president. And Kenya Sturkey is, if I see her, there she is. Everybody's in the back. So they can make a quick exit. They've been here a while. They got to go get their schedules. That's our secretary. And then returning as the treasurer is Terry Austin, right here in the middle as well. And then she's already in her classroom, but again, our teacher liaison is Brandy Plum. So Sword Bearer is our parent-teacher organization here at Central. And so it is in place to help support the teachers, try to provide things that the school maybe doesn't have in their budget, but that our teachers need to be effective for your students. For example, some of the things that we did just last year, we bought 3 digital projectors for the teachers. We bought 4 vacuum cleaners for them so that they can have those handy and not go looking for vacuum cleaners. We gave money towards the parking lot repairs that occurred last year. And then, of course, every year we try to give a bonus for the teachers for Christmas, and then, of course, Teacher Appreciation Week. And so those are some of the things, for example, last year that our funds went to. And most of us know as parents that no school is any greater than the parents who invest and entrust that school with the education of their children. And so Sword Bearers is really another way for you to support that school, support this ministry, and it's your avenue. Sword Bearers is your avenue to be able to provide that support. Sometimes parents want to be involved, and they're not entirely sure how that can happen, what their role is, what are some ways to support their children. Some of y'all, especially if you're new here, you'll find out all sorts of ways that you're going to support your children. You will find yourself with insects in your freezer. At some point this year, you'll find yourself trying to figure out the perfect mix of volcano fluids to make it explode just right, and you'll find out all the details of some minute country as you work on that nation notebook. So there's lots of ways you're going to support your children, and Sword Bearers is one of them. And so some of the ways that you can support them in the back with my wife, President Nancy, is, I'm trying to get brownie points, but you'll see some of the sign-up sheets for some of the things coming up this year. So for example, our first event that we would like help with is Grandparents' Day, and that's going to be September 7th. And so if you can go ahead and put that on your radar, things like just bringing meals or help serve. It's broken up so you can just do small incremental time investments. Everybody's busy, but if we all pull together, it'll help make some of these things a blessing to our teachers and to our families and to our school. Tonight, for example, is a continuation of the uniform sale. So if you're new to Central, you're looking for a way to kind of supplement your uniform wardrobe, that'll go on tonight, and that's sponsored by Sword Bearers, and that's a fundraiser. Coming up in just a few weeks, August 25th, is one of the first kind of gatherings that we have to get together and build a fellowship and build a camaraderie. And that's our game night, and that's going to be August 25th from 5:30 to 8. And for that, you just bring yourself and some finger food and get together and get to know your Central family so that we can know better how to pray for each other, how to support each other's needs. There's lots of other things that you'll see on the sign-up sheet, so find your niche. Find your way to support your school, to support your children. Some of us, it may not be during the day things because we work, but maybe some night things, maybe some evening things, some donations, some other things that you can do. The Sword Bearer meetings are monthly. It's not a requirement to come. If you would like to come, you're invited. Everybody has a voice. There's no real hierarchy. If you'd like to be involved, come out. But if you can't do that, again, if the evenings are just not something you can do, there's lots of ways to be involved. And go see President Nancy, and she'll find ways for you to be involved. Thank y'all.
I meant to mention also, in your blue form there, it has the box tops that we gather. Those box tops are on everything, those little squares. You get 10 cents for each one of those. And so that adds up. We actually, Mrs. Austin, do you remember, what did we get, $2,000 or $3,000 from those? Did we get that much? I'm not sure. We got a lot of money from our box tops. And then there's Coke tops, Coke bottle pop tops. What am I saying there? You know what I'm talking about? I call it pop because I'm from West Virginia. Coke tops. Okay. And so those, we get money for those as well. We could use help with those. We have bags on bags of those. And they have to be entered. Like, box tops are great. We put them in an envelope and send them, and they send us money. It's lovely. The Coke pops make you work for your money. You have to enter the code, which is nothing. You just sit there and enter a code. So maybe your child that loves to play on the computer should enter a code and get some money. So those are ways you can help as well. That helps us raise money. However, the Tyson, it's not happening anymore. I don't know if Tyson's not doing it or we're not doing Tyson, but I don't think they're doing it anymore. So no Tyson. Don't snip them. I don't think they're even on the packages anymore. And we don't do Campbell's anymore either. And I'm not sure what happened with Campbell's, but I know that those, Campbell's isn't even on the paper anymore. All right, next is the calendar, and as you know, calendar is subject to change, but it is as current as we could get it. It was also on the school website. There's a tab for the calendar, and so it's all on the Google Calendar where you can view it and see it, so that you know what's happening as the days go by. And of course, along with the events, we send home emails and the papers and everything. We're not going to say, well, you should check the calendar. We'll give you more information in details as things come up. Just an overview of the year. I know a lot of parents like to know when those vacations are so that you can hit the beach or go see grandma or whatever. And the next is a campus map. This just helps when you're new. There's 3 buildings, there's playgrounds, there's parking lots, and so that overall campus map is just there so that you can kind of see the layout of the land. The The next thing is the cardiac arrest form and concussion information. If your child is in any kind of an activity, basically I've put it in your packet if you're in K-5 through 12th grade. So if you're here tonight, you've got a concussion and a cardiac form. Those are required by law for you to be informed about what a concussion looks like. And you're supposed to initial each symptom that you know what to look for, and you initial it. If your child, it says right here, if your child is in K-5 through 5th, you do not need to initial it. Okay, your little 5-year-old is not going to remember the symptoms of the concussion. So you're just going to read it for your information. Same thing with the cardiac arrest form. What are the symptoms? What does it look like? And you're going to sign. And if you're in 6th through 12th, then you're going to sign. The student's going to sign, and the parents going to sign. Because once they get to about 6th grade, they kind of can understand. You know, my arm hurts, my shoulder hurts, or I'm feeling lightheaded, and they can tell you their symptoms. So that's when we want the student to read that information and sign it as well. And then the next one is the menu list. I'm going to take the time to talk about all that because I know when we talk and do tours and everything, we talk about lunch. Mrs. Fleming does need help. When I came to Central, and I've already said how much I love Mrs. Fleming, my lunch lady. I'm telling myself I love to eat. We have Fridays, FRY, Fridays. So we have hamburgers and french fries on Friday. It doesn't start until after Labor Day, and we'll let y'all know when that's coming. But she needs helpers. We fry up hamburgers every Friday and have some french fries, and that's what the students eat, and we love Fridays. But she needs helpers with that, someone to fry the burgers, someone to wrap the burgers, someone to do the fries. It's a lot of work. She usually needs 2 or 3 workers. So there's a sign-up sheet in your packet. That's just so you can see the dates that are available to help. You can see her, she'll be in the cafeteria. We'd love to talk to you about that and help. I know we have some people that help all the time and they're experts at it at this point, but we can always use help. It never hurts. The next thing that I'd like to talk about is the City Saver. Now, y'all are familiar with the City Saver probably if you've been in Central, and if you haven't, you probably had a neighbor, cousin, somebody that's told you about the City Saver. We really like the City Saver fundraiser. Last year we raised over $5,000 selling the City Saver fundraiser. Or the City Saver book, and so that's a really good fundraiser. That's a lot of money, and so that's going to happen again. And we're doing it a little differently. Last year, I know there was a handful of years there when we were giving out 5 books, and that became very overwhelming to keep track of. I know there were parents that they don't want 5 books, and so we're just going to do a preview book. So tonight you're going to be dismissed. When you get dismissed from here, you're going to go to your students. Secondary, you're going to go to homeroom. Your homeroom teacher should have your City Saver book, and then elementary, of course, that would be your classroom teacher. You're going to get one, it's going to be in the envelope. That's your display. You're going to show your neighbor, your friend, this is the City Saver book. It is a great coupon book. It took me a year, maybe 2, to kind of get used to it. I just stick it in my van, and I go out to eat, and I'm like, oh, that's right, I have that coupon book. It's a buy one, get one coupon book, so it's great. If you eat out, if you get an oil change, if you do any kind of, there's Redbirds and I don't know. There's not, if it's Memphis related, it's more of a local business. We have some McDonald's and Burger King stuff, but it's a great coupon book. I think it's like if you use 2 or 3 coupons, it's paid for itself. And then I usually use several. There's certain ones that I go through every year. So it's a great coupon book, but the way it's going to work is you're going to get one to preview, and then they're going to give you money. So they're going to have to pre-pay for their book. And this is going to be the simplest way. This is what City Saver recommended we do. So you will send your envelope back. If it has $75 in it, you should have 3 names on the list. 3 names, $75. I get 3 books. I put it with the envelope. I take your money, and I give you 3 books. Now, I cannot guarantee that it'll happen that night. So the teachers will gather them in the morning, and we'll have our system. And you're going to say, where's your City Saver books? We're going to try really hard to give them to you that evening. They'll come home with them. But if I have a ton of kids turn in all their envelopes at the same time, we may not be able to facilitate that. We'll try, and that probably should happen. But if not, we'll get them to you no later than the next day. So if your neighbor's like, where's my City Saver book? They're coming. We'll get them within a day or so. It shouldn't take long for us to get them to you. So that's how we're going to do the City Saver book, please. And then keep track of it. There's that paper in, okay, so the City Saver people came and they took the paper that explains the prizes, and they put it in the book. So I wanted this in the packet, and they didn't know that, and that's fine, because you'll get the information in your book. It gives you the prizes. Some of them are the same, some of them are different. This year, the big prize, Okay, so I'm really feeling old because I'm not getting this prize here. It's a full-size skateboard. Apparently it's really huge, and it's like the new big thing that kids are loving. I don't know. So if you sell 15 or more books, you're going to be in the drawing for the big prize. But we've added to that. Last year, everybody got to be in the drawing, but we wanted to get you some kind of incentive. You get all the other prizes. If you sell 3 books, you get a prize. And 5 books, you get another prize. You're going to get a ton of prizes if you sell 15 books. But then on top of just the name of the drawing, we're going to throw in a Casual Friday. We will talk more about Casual Friday when it's time for a Casual Friday. But the kids love it because they don't have to be in uniform. You wear the blue jeans and they love that. And so that's going to be part of it. So whether or not you win the big skateboard, you get a free Casual Friday. And so that information will be in your City Saver book on the prizes, and we will tell the students about it. We're going to have a kickoff party on Tuesday after school at 3 o'clock. And if people are curious about, because I'm very curious about. So that's where I need that form filled in and turned into the office. We do Facebook, we do, what's the other one, it's not Twitter?
Instagram.
I'm dating myself because I can't even remember Instagram. And so Facebook, Instagram, and then we have a YouTube channel as well. And I love our YouTube channel as well because then you can go and watch the whole Christmas program if you want to. The kindergarten graduation, you can go back and see those events that have happened at Central. And so I cannot put those on there without your permission. And it's happened before. We have a fabulous, oh, look at this great picture. And we have to do some special cropping or put a little, and we can do that. That's completely fine because we get it. Some of you do not want your children's images on social media, and that's what that form helps us to respect that. And so that needs to be turned in as well. I don't know, did anybody see our TV advertisement? Just our TV advertisement? Okay, so we had an advertisement on TV. It's posted on our website, centralbaptistschool.org. This is a 30-second clip, and so we were able to put that on News Channel 5 this year for about 3 months there in the spring to boost our enrollment. And so we were able to use some images of some children. I call them our famous people now. Mrs. Franklin's our famous teacher. And so we can't do any of that without your permission. And then piano lessons, as Mrs. Kemp, I mentioned her earlier, she offers piano lessons here at the school, and that's just if you're interested. Now, this is an important one because this is a little bit of a change. We need to talk about student drop-off and pickup. We've talked about campus security a little bit, about raising funds. We finished accreditation last year, as most of you know, and one of our recommendations in accreditation world, a recommendation means a requirement. It's just a nice way of saying you have to do this. But this was already on our radar. We have a school improvement plan, we have a school improvement committee, and one of the things that was top 5, we have for our school improvement plan, you have 5 things that, this is what we're working on, and top of the list was and is security. And so when the recommendation came for a locked campus, I said, that's awesome because we want to do that anyway. So that's where that fundraiser for the golf tournament comes in, because until we can get some buzz in, buzz out, mag lock, all that good stuff, until that can happen, we're using people and keys to get in and out of doors. And that's fine because that's secure. But because of that, that means we can only open certain doors at certain times, and that's going to change our drop-off procedure. Now, if you're new, then you're just going to listen and go, oh, okay. If you're returning, you're going to go, what? It's not that difficult. So I got the campus map up here, and you have one in your packet. I'm very visually, this is how I learn. It's too late. This will be too late because the teacher is going to take the sign and close the door. And that means you can't drop off there. We're trying to be as obvious as possible because when you start moving, where do I drop off my child? Because what door are they going to be able to get in, right? So the sign is gone, the door is closed, there's no teacher. That means you need to go ahead and come around. And right here where the red awnings are, there's a single glass door, and then there's the 2 double glass doors. All those glass doors right there. We're going to have monitors, we're going to have door helpers, and then of course the students will be going upstairs from 7:50 to 8. That's where you're going to get in the building if you're in that building. If you're in first grade, you're going to have to come, and I guess it's up to you. You'll have to see if you want to park here, you can walk down here, and there's that handicap slope. And Mrs. Phillips is going to help you see this. When you go to her room tonight, she's going to show you where you're going to come. If you've done summer care, it's the door where we dropped off and picked up of that handicap sled. So Mrs. Phillips will show you exactly where you go. At 7:50 to 8 o'clock, that's where you're going to get dropped off. And then if you come at 8 o'clock, you are going to have to check in at the school office. And that's how we're going to track. That'll help us track the tardy. We'll smart the tardy. We'll talk about tardies and all that stuff in a minute. This is drop off. And so at 8 o'clock, your child's going to have to go to the office and check in at the office. They'll get a yellow slip that will admit them to class. It actually is going to admit them to the building because I'm training this person right here that's going to let people in to not let them in after 8 o'clock. There'll be a sign in the door that says, "School has begun. Please check in at the school office." I'm trying to be real clear so you know what you need to do, right? You come and you're like, "Oh, she's put the door sign up." Once the door sign's up, that means you get to go over to the school office. Mrs. Herring will give you the little yellow slip, and then you can come back, and they'll let you in. And then if you come into this, when you come into the school office here, what's going to say? If you're in that building, you're in that building. So the first graders, you're already in that building. You don't have to go anywhere else for anybody to let you in. And so that's how you're going to get in that building. And we're working on having someone to let you in those doors because they are going to be locked. Okay, that's drop off. So pick up for secondary is no different than it was. Now for new parents, that means you're going to come in. Secondary parents are going to park right here, and it's got a little, you've got your legend over here to tell you. And you're going to park right there. You're going to merge left a little bit to kind of get out of the lanes of traffic because there'll be a line right here for parking, and then there'll be a secondary line that will drive past an outgoing line. So that's secondary parking or car line, and the students will come out and they'll just load in your car and you drive off. Merge carefully. Elementary pickup has not changed either. Pickup is going to be at the same door, and that A-frame sign is going to go back out, so you know where to pick up. You'll say pick up in the afternoon, and then you will form your line along the back of the gymnasium, and the teachers will dismiss them. Another new thing for security that we have put in this year is that if you are in K3, which I know we don't have anybody K3 through 6th grade, my elementary students, you're going to have a number for your rear view mirror. And so everybody has a number. We have your number in our record, and it just hangs from your mirror. And then that way, we know who you are. Your child has a number in our record. And so this will help our new teachers. Now, our teachers should know who your faces are, but I have new teachers. So just stick it in your rear view mirror, have it with you, so that when it's pickup time, and some of you are new families, so if you're a new family, we don't know who you belong to yet. So this child with this, and so that helps us for security reasons know which child goes with which car. Okay, and so with K5, Mrs. Kingston's going to talk to you about yours because you're going to be PK parking, and you're going to go down around, you're going to park and walk your child in that door right there, and she's going to talk you through that. That'll be drop off and pick up for kindergarten. And K4 to K3, K4. So you'll go in that door and she'll help you out with all of that. But I'm going to give K5's parents a number as well. A number or an identification for K5. So if you're walking in, oh, I forgot my number. Until we learn you, okay? But you never know with dismissal who's going to have dismissal. It could be the new teacher that doesn't know you. You have one number in your packet. We will supply you with a second one if you want one, okay? I'm going to be here this evening. I'm going to have a pen and paper. If you want one, I'll probably just start a sign-up list and just have you sign up for a second one. I can give you a second one at no charge. If you need a third one because you have a complicated pickup and you just would be simpler, I'll have to charge you for that just because it does cost us to get those hangers. But I'll give you two. I've got one already in your packet, and then we'll give you a second one if you need one. I'll get you a sign-up list. Okay? And your teachers have all practiced this and talked about it. They should be able to talk to you about it and show you where it's at when it happens. And then the teachers were all of traffic duty. We're going to talk you through it. We're going to get through it on Monday and show you which way to go. We've got enough people on duty that we should be able to do that. So that is pick-up, drop-off procedures. Next thing is the student handbook. And I am not going to go through this whole handbook. I know you're like, please, thank you. There's a couple things I'm going to recommend that you read. Now, you're supposed to read the whole thing, so that you know all the different things about the school. Not much has changed. There's been a few things that have changed this year, but some things that you want to make sure that you are familiar with. You need to read the admissions, all the admissions on, that's talking about money and enrolling and withdrawing and moving and all those things. Those are important to you. You want to know those things. Then there's a general section, and the general section applies to everybody, secondary or elementary. You need to read about absences and what it means to be approved or excused or unexcused, okay? You need, if they're sick or something, it's easy, just write a note and it's excused. If you need to go out of town, you just let us know in advance and we say, okay, and we get you the work and you bring the work back. It tells you the policy there about getting the work done and bringing it back. It's okay, and just give us a note, give us advance notice, it's excused. And so those are the details there that you need to know, because you need to know too, if it's not excused, if you do go out of town and you miss 2 or 3 days and it wasn't approved and you don't get the work made up, then it's unexcused and there are consequences to your child's grade. So you don't want that to happen. You need to know that information. Same thing with tardies. You want to know how that works. There are a few instances that we excuse tardies, but not very many. We just really encourage promptness, and so you can read that there about that. We do have enforced the 10 tardies does equal a detention. Now that's 10 tardies in a quarter. So in 9 weeks you've been late 10 times. And so just so you know, the lower elementary has a lower elementary detention. They don't have detention with the big kids or anything like that. It's all age appropriate for detentions. So that's tardies. Read about that. Of course, like I said, read everything, but these are the ones I really want to point out. The next one is page 9 is homework. Read about the homework policies. You will be glad to know we have tweaked our homework policy a little bit. The kids are like, oh, what? So in order to keep them from getting a referral every time they have a homework offense in every class, we've changed it to where, and this is for secondary, the elementary students have their own system, and that's in their packet. This is high school. And we'll talk about this again, high school students, on Tuesday. But you get every third offense as a referral. And you can read it there. We've explained the first offense, it docks the grade. The second offense, it docks the grade. But the referral doesn't happen until every third offense. And that would keep them from getting a ton of referrals. Hopefully they're doing their homework. But that just kind of gives them a little bit of wiggle room on that, so they're not getting so many referrals. But we still wanted a consequence. I was a big proponent of having a referral because I, as a parent, want my student doing his homework. I want my child doing his homework, especially when he tells me he has it done. And then he comes home with a referral saying he didn't have it done. So I know your children do not do that, but mine does. We've also added a project. If you turn to page 10, there's a projects policy. It's a little different than the homework policy because projects are counted a little differently. And turning on to different pages, I've just marked a few that I wanted to highlight. On dress code, just read the dress code. The elementary and secondary is about the same for boys and girls, but they are split up into elementary and secondary, so be sure to read specifically. There might be a small detail that's different. There is a small detail, well, it's not small, it's big. Like in secondary, the boys don't wear blue jeans, but in elementary they can. So make sure you read this dress code section that's for your child's department. A couple of changes there to the dress code. Not a whole lot of change there, but a little. And then I also wanted to point out that we've talked about competition on page 27, just letting you know if your child is involved in a fine art class, that they are required to participate in the competition. That's part of being in the class, and it explains that there. And then the discipline system with referrals and the different, what the results are of those offenses. And I will let you read that. And of course, if you have questions, with the teachers will be happy to help you. I'll be happy to help you. Shoot us an email, work with you on getting that all in. And then you have a half sheet of paper in your packet for a tutoring program. Mrs. Jerry Scott is coming with us this year. You know, if you met her for second grade, she's also going to be helping us with a tutoring program. And so if your child is struggling in a subject, you can talk to your teacher. She can get you in contact with Mrs. Scott. She will set you up, and it talks to you there on that little half sheet of paper, how that works, and this will just help it be smoother instead of trying to coordinate with, and she's just going to help make the coordination of the tutoring a lot smoother. All right, so I am going to dismiss you to your classrooms